There can be a lot of reasons why sometimes you put off breaking up with a narcissistic person. Maybe you have kids with this person and you don't want to split up a family. You might live with this person but not want to go through the hassle of finding a new place or new people and starting over again. Whatever the reason or reasons, this video is going to tell you the easiest way to dump a narcissist for good and how they might react to a relationship ending and what you might expect from them in that moment. Weird as this might sound, I don't think a person should learn that their partner has these toxic traits and could potentially be narcissistic and go and run and immediately end the relationship with them. I just don't think that's a very healthy way to do things. I feel that when you realize you're in a relationship with somebody where it won't work, it's not working, you've tried, you're the only one trying, and you're realizing this is a highly toxic person, I think a plan should be made before the breakup. Unless you're in a situation where you just have to make an escape, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. Even if you're in a situation where you don't feel threatened necessarily, I kind of think a plan and some reflecting are some of the best things to do before any quick decision is reached. As I said in my intro, sometimes we can make excuses for staying, and that's why I think a plan is also really important. We need to honestly take the time to sit down and list what we're unhappy with and why we are unhappy in this relationship. Listing and writing and really thinking about why things aren't going the way they're supposed to. Whose responsibility is it? Is it theirs? Is it ours? Owning our own responsibility. Even making a list of reasons why it's imperative that we do leave and move on with our life. This is a stagnant, stale relationship that isn't going anywhere and you're not getting what you want from it, and so on and so forth. When we get sucked into a relationship that is really unhealthy, it sometimes becomes just easier to stay and accept what it is and also accept what it isn't. And writing down all these things and keeping them in the front of your mind is a really good way to constantly remind yourself, among other things, you deserve better than this. You shouldn't just be accepting things that you don't want or be willing to give up things that you really are looking forward to. Of course, I have to talk about detachment and gray rock and no contact in this video, but I don't really want to touch on any of these for a really long time and get into all of that. This is how you leave a narcissist and move on with your life, but I kind of want to talk about some planning and some prep work, so I just want to make it very clear. I do have videos on how to do the gray rock technique, how to begin detaching from a narcissist, how to go no contact, how to stay no contact. You broke no contact. What do you do now? Getting through the trauma bond. I have playlists on all of those things. So what I'm going to do is link a bunch of those videos at the end of this one. So stick around until the end so you can just move right on into more videos. I will also link several more down below in the description for you to poke around and maybe get more information. Really vital things, I think, that help us to go no contact, get plans in place and move forward are really important. So I want to list. And the number one most important thing is purge your messages. All of your messages, all those texts, all those photos, all those snaps, all those everything, you don't need them and you're carrying them around. And I know what you're doing. You're reading them over and over and over again. And it isn't doing anybody any good. It isn't a healthy thing to do. You don't need to carry around messages and photos on your phone, laptop, tablet, whatever, for months and years after the breakup. You're not doing yourself any good by keeping them and rereading them. That literally couldn't be more unhelpful. And a really common excuse is, well, when I look back, I can see all these things that I couldn't before. Okay, well, you see them. So how many times do you need to see something? Get rid of all of those messages. If you need them for court issues or something, you can save those on a drive and get them off your phone and into a place where you don't need to continue to reread them until you go to court or whatever. You can also move all your conversations with them over to email if you still need to talk to them, and then you won't be going through a bunch of texts. Another really important thing as you start to think about moving forward and getting on with your life and what happens after you go no contact, you're getting rid of all those messages, all of those photos. Get rid of their shit. I can't even begin to tell you how much shit I threw away of my own once my discard was over. I threw out clothes he said I looked good in, things just because he touched them. I rearranged my whole house. Of course, I got rid of the whole 3 things that he gave me in 2 years, but everything. I even chopped off almost a foot of my hair, and I just kept cutting it until I'm pretty sure I was almost bald because I didn't want anything that he had ever touched. I just kept getting rid and completely purging everything I could. Now, that might sound over the top and harsh and all of that, but I'm a firm believer in we don't need to carry all this shit around that serves us no purpose and does us no good. Why do we want to sit around and read old messages that make us feel good for 5 seconds and then go, oh yeah, wait a minute, this person is actually super shitty? That doesn't do anybody any good. Why would I want love letters and texts and photos from a man who clearly didn't love me and was not the love of my life? I implore you to purge these things, get it all sorted out, all put together, what's yours and what's theirs as you're going through all of this, and get ready to truly let go of 90 to 95% of the shit that this person has in your life. Now, obviously, if you're married or you have kids or both, this is something that you won't be able to do 100%, and that's okay. But nobody needs to keep texts and pictures and all this kind of stuff, and also hang on to people's physical belongings. Find somewhere else for them to go, because all it does is kind of bog down your brain and keep you in a really toxic, upsetting frame of mind. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a toxic relationship with a narcissist, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats with me. Now, a narcissist's reaction to all of this, you going gray rock or beginning to detach, of course the reactions are going to vary, but what I want to do is run down the most common reactions for all of this. And I kind of boil it down to the overt reaction and the covert reaction. And I just want to give a little information on what you can expect. So your leaving or detaching or what have you is never something that's on the narcissist's agenda. I don't care if they're more an overt or more covert style of narcissist. You leaving is never something that's on their radar. Typically, what happens over time is they become very confident in the fact that you are never going to leave. The more time you stay, the less likely they believe naturally you are to leave. You breaking up or initiating a breakup, pulling back, beginning to gray rock, things like that, will cause an immediate reaction from a narcissist. These are very ego and me-centric people who frankly feel after enough time has passed, you're too weak and stupid to go anywhere. So you doing so really catches them off guard. A narcissist leaves when they are ready. And with you blindsiding them like this, most of them deploy those defense mechanisms and tricks to make you stay. They might yell and scream and scare you into staying. Scare tactics and threats. If you leave, there's going to be consequences. They might even get extremely emotional and cry and beg. Pleading for you to stay and not end things with them is also something really common. The covert narcissist is going to ramp up that victim mode plus 100 and tell you things that are going to lay a massive guilt trip on you. They'll say, oh, wow, you're leaving me and now I have to start all over again. You're just giving up on all of this. Or, oh, wow, you're kicking me out. What a fucking waste of time this was. Hey, good job. Good for you. Or, oh, wow, you had me so fooled. I actually thought you cared about me and now you're ending this and you're not even trying to work something out with me when you've tried like 8,000 times. In times where they're caught off guard, of course, they're going to try to keep you. There are the select few who, though, will honestly just laugh when you say it's over or begin to gray rock them and they'll go, fine, whatever, just leave. Don't actually think that they're fine with it because they're not. But there are narcissists who are not going to be very reactive or emotional in that situation. Sometimes they hold off on that immediate response and they will do something down the road later on. Sometimes they're too blindsided to really react in one way or the other. It's just like, oh, wow, this is happening. Also, along with not getting much of a reaction, a lot of narcs choose to just vanish. They might ghost you or give you a silent treatment when you end something. With a toxic person like a narcissist, a really important thing to be aware of as well is the Hoover. You're leaving this person probably pretty abruptly with not a whole lot of warning, so there won't be a whole lot of other supply happening in a lot of cases. They're probably really banking on you for who knows how much, at least 50% or more of their supply they have going on right now. They didn't choose to pull the plug on the relationship, and now that you are, they have no good replacement. So think of it this way. The narcissist always needs someone to pester, to try to leech off of. And once it's no longer you, the parasite needs a new host. But what happens? What happens when they can't find one, which I promise you is actually more common than you think? They're not rolling around in people who are just beating down their door who can't wait to get their hands on this person. They keep showing up at your door. That's exactly what they do. They keep knocking at your door, at your window like a creep. They slide in your DMs, your email, your socials, whatever. And every time they keep trying with you after you're good and gone, know this. Nothing good is happening for them in their sad little lives. Never fall for anything they might tell you in any of these hoovers and reach outs either. They will hoover you and say all kinds of just absolute insanity. I love you. I hate you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Whatever. Any and everything they will say. They'll try to make you angry. They'll try to make you sad, try to make you feel bad about yourself. They'll try to compliment you, the whole nine. Again, I have a whole bunch of videos about the Hoover as well. I have a bunch of videos about all of this stuff for you to jump into. No contact. I have a whole playlist on how to stay no contact. Or if you've broken it, which I've already said, again, all those links at the end of the video here and down in the description as well for you. All of those resources available to you. So tell me how you went no contact, or are you planning it right now? Are you journaling it? Are you self-reflecting, really thinking about what you should be doing? If you have tips to share or words of encouragement for leaving these relationships, how to gray rock if you're a parent or a spouse, how to detach if it's a really long-term relationship, how to deal with long distance stuff. Whatever your situation is, you are not alone in your situation. And I hope along with that comfort, you will share tips and words of encouragement for other people in the comments to read, for other survivors, because we can pass along all of this help and support and positivity. I also hope that if you are a member of my community here and you see somebody who's having a hard time, that you find it in your heart to say something nice and supportive to them. And maybe if you need some help and support, just say, hey, some kind words would certainly cheer me up today. This is an amazing 86,000 subscriber strong community that is not only supportive of each other, but all of you have been so supportive of me as well, and we can continue to help each other move forward. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Have a great day, Survivor, and take care of yourself.